Welcome to Trade of the Week. I'm United Gumine. Up for technical analysis this week are Sibanye-Stillwater, Sasol, Pan-African Resources and Old Mutual. And bringing us his analysis of those stocks is Rob Pietropaolo, co-head of trading at Unum Capital. Thank you so much for your time, Rob. I have noticed that 3 out of those 4 stocks are resource stocks. Would you say that there is opportunity presenting itself in the resource space at this point? Actually, funny enough, those resources have actually been flying. I remember yesterday on the JSE, they surged about 6%.
That's where all the action is. So, that's what this segment's all about. It's where are the opportunities. And I think in this case, look, it is getting tougher and tougher to find solid stock picks based on the technicals. There's been quite a lot of volatility. But in terms of short-term opportunities, you've got to sort of follow what the market's telling you. And the market's telling us that this is the space to be.
All right. Well, let's start off with Sibanye-Stillwater. And actually, if I remember correctly, you're not the first one to actually be looking for opportunity in this stock. What is the technical picture telling us?
Well, first of all, anybody that's held that stock for a while knows exactly how much pain they've gone through to get to this point. Us being one of them, we've actually been in the stock for a very long time. But the technicals this time around are actually showing quite a bullish shift in momentum.
Okay.
So if we just look at broadly on the daily chart of Sibanye, what grabbed my attention is this breakout, the short-term breakout that's happened since that resistance was broken. And that resistance was in place from around October, November last year. But you can see there on the 21st, the candle that gapped up, which created that breakout scenario. And naturally, that RSI at the bottom is showing quite a lot of underlying strength in the stock itself. Okay. But if we just look at sort of pattern trading, or a technical pattern that really grabbed my eye, is this sort of triangle pattern pointing northwards, you know, and this is generally considered a continuation pattern. So any kind of pullback, which I think we are getting today, it might be 1.5%, I think could be a buying opportunity for the stock, for it to continue this bullish trend. As I said before, anybody who's held the stock has gone through a lot of pain, and I think to bail out of it now is actually quite silly. So I think momentum is in the favor of the PGMs and Sibanye especially. It was hovering way down at around 14 Rand, 15 Rand, now almost doubled. But I don't think that's the end of the road for Sibanye at this stage. So if we just follow what the market is telling us, the RSI is still very strong, nice bullish continuation pattern. And if we just take that little flag stick and extrapolate it up, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next sort of 3 weeks we manage to see Sibanye carry on to around $35, which I think would be fair at this point in time, given the current market conditions.
So where's it now? Where are you seeing? Was it 27 Rand?
Yeah, it closed yesterday at around 27 Rand 40. Or 27 Rand 70. So I think if you pull back, as we are seeing today, if you can pick it up anywhere near 27 Rand, your take profit level, I would estimate as close to 35 Rand as you possibly can, and placing a stop loss at 24 Rand. So you're looking for a nice, at least a 20% gain in the stock, I think, coming up in the next few weeks.
Okay, stop loss at 24 Rand, and then if it goes anywhere below 24, then maybe we should start worrying about a change in the trend, but that doesn't look like a possibility at this point.
It still looks very bullish to me, so any pullback, I think, from here can be bought. Obviously, if you can pick it up below 27, good for you. You can adjust your stop loss. But I think this is pointing upwards, and I'm willing to stay with the trend at the moment.
All right. Well, a lot of people that have felt pain is not just Sibanye-Stillwater shareholders, but Sasol shareholders as well. But actually, we've had a lot of people coming back into the stock recently, particularly after their capital markets day, seeming that they are really trying to do things to kind of get their fundamentals back in in order. But looking at that technical picture, what is the chart telling us about Sasol, a stock that it was telling us bad news for a very long time?
It's the same amount of pain for Sasol shareholders as well, and if not longer, I think. Yeah, again, RSI is still very strong. You could see a lot of buying coming into the stock from April, where it hit its low.
Yeah.
I think that low was around 64 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. But also very interesting price action. Now you can see that, when the stock's going up, there's strength, there's buying. And the RSI showing us that it's hovering around that 80% mark. The relative strength index still showing that there is strength in the current price. But again, quite a similar pattern.
Yeah.
We've got this sort of triangle wedgie type pattern, but you can see over the last few trading sessions, those long tails up. So it's showing a little bit of uncertainty. Guys are actually selling the highs of the day, pushing the share price, and it's closing off the highs of the day, which isn't too concerning because we have seen this breakout on Sasol. So you're getting a bit of a price squeeze. I think it's getting buying support very near this 80 Rand level, which we can tell it's not breaking out of this squeeze or this triangle. So for me, I still think it's bullish, hovering around this current resistance zone. But for me, I think if we just zoom out a little bit, and let's go back to where the next leg of pain started. If we go back to last year around December, January, that's when all the selling took place. So between 95 and 100 Rand, that's where everybody bailed out of the stock, and it just has gone lower ever since. And then obviously making a turn in the middle of April, that's where the bottom was hit. We can see that little doji at the bottom there, which signaled a sort of a potential trend reversal, and that's exactly what we've seen. But just to zoom out, in terms of looking for targets in this volatile market, again, I don't think it's the time to bail out too easily. They often say that a good trader, holds onto his winners a little bit longer, not get out too quickly. But also you got to get out of your losers just as fast. But I think a lot of guys go wrong by getting out of their winners too early a lot of the time.
Yes.
So we saw Sasol closing very close to 83 Rand last night, and I think there was a bit of a pullback today. I think we
a little bit,
probably trading at around 82 or just below, possibly.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really good zone. If you're buying within that triangle, it still looks a little bit, still looks bullish to me.
Okay.
And I'd be targeting very much that previous zone where guys started taking profit. And also, once again, I think 95 Rand would be fair for the stock now, given that we've gone through all this pain. It is a short-term opportunity.
Yes.
So it's the investment case for Sasol is obviously completely different. And we're trading the technicals here. So I think momentum favors us, also favors the brave. So I think you could buy it at around these levels as close to 80 as possible. I'm happy to pick them up at current levels at 82 Rand. With a take profit at 95, very close to 95, and it gives you a lot of room. Look, the stop and the take profit are quite wide given the volatility of the stock. But Sasol has been quite a star performer since April, so why would you not be following the money?
Yeah, I mean, I am surprised that you're picking it up at this point, because I would have thought that maybe you would have said, let's pick it up at when it was around 60, 70 something, but like considering where the kind of target is, it's still good to buy at these levels?
Yeah, look, I mean, at 60, 64 Rand, it was all doom and gloom.
Yes,
so everybody thought Sasol's going to fall back down to 30 or 40 Rand.
Yeah.
And that's always the danger. So it's always better to wait for the momentum to confirm the direction for you. So I don't mind losing out on the first 20 bucks. But having a better shot at making the next 15, 20%, I think I feel safer because nobody's got a crystal ball. Nobody could pick the bottom there, as nobody can pick the top either. So I think right now this is a great level. It's finding support at current levels, which gives me a little bit more of a level of comfort.
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting note to take, that you can miss out on the first 10 Rand, 20 Rand profit, because you are right. At 60, the 60 Rand level, it really was all doom and gloom. People were thinking that maybe this could go back to your 20 Rand levels. Well, There is a gold counter that you have here as well, Pan-African Resources, and it's actually quite interesting because with gold, a lot of people have just been asking themselves, you know, when can we offload our positions? And actually, we even saw yesterday the gold counters were actually the high flyers. How's Pan-African been performing amidst it all?
Well, that's what drew my attention yesterday. So as you said, all the gold stocks flew and actually carried the market higher. So all the performance in the market was the gold stocks, and then much later in the afternoon, the platinum boys joined the party.
Yeah.
The difference, though, is Pan-African Resources has outperformed the rest of the gold stocks over the last few trading sessions. And it looks like it's a day of me and my triangles again when I move on to the next slide. But again, you can see this is, again, it's based on yesterday's close. Just if you look at the oscillators at the bottom there, coming out of oversold territory, but boy, did they bounce hard yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, what that triggered for me, which was quite interesting, is also a breakout of this downward trend, which has been lasting for, I'd say, the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is a very bullish indicator. So, look, there's no doubt that the gold stocks have been volatile.
Yeah.
You're in for 6-7% a day. And if you just do what the price is telling you, I think you should be okay. Again, as I said, it's outperformed the rest of its peers.
Yeah.
It is a slightly different model. Pan-African Resources is very much, compared to the rest, a low-cost gold producer with renewables at the forefront of their strategy. So, and it's provided a very bullish, again, like I said, these triangles are in play, and it's across most of the resource stocks anyway. But what I like about it is, again, this little support level that looks like that is a bit of a flag to me if I just extrapolate that as well. And if we just, as we did in the Sibanye chart, we extrapolate that, I think at 11 Rand, I think you might even have touched that today. At 11 Rand, I think it's really a bargain to buy this for the next move up. You've got to play inside that volatility, and I don't think the gold run is over. And if the Rand plays the game, you know, if we start seeing a little bit of weakness, it could get us there much, much quicker. So I think anywhere near 11 Rand for a take profit of 13.50, and the stop loss is very easy. A break of that triangle, you just get out and wait for the next move. But again, then you got 15-16% waiting for you if you follow the rules. You get out if you're wrong. But I think it's not over for the gold miners just yet.
Just yet. Okay, the gold rush is still happening. I do note this triangle, same trend. So it's really, really quite interesting to see you applying the same trend on all these stocks. Well, let's get into financial services, insurance counter, Old Mutual. What are you seeing there? What prompted you to have this one?
Look, it's financials are naturally, or by their very nature, are quite cyclical.
Yes.
So again, Old Mutual was under pressure with the rest of the financials if we go back to that nice correction we had in April. But interestingly, the stock is also coming out of very much oversold levels, and we can see the RSI starting to turn up.
I can see.
But a very different pattern that's grabbed my attention here is this inverse or inverted head and shoulders pattern at the bottom of a trend. Now, normally that should continue.
Yes.
This kind of pattern normally has a very high success rate. I don't think at current levels 11, 12 Rand is very demanding for Old Mutual in any event. But if we just apply the technicals, we've got the left shoulder, a weak left shoulder, but a much stronger right shoulder, and then obviously the head. Looking for this pattern to continue, as they usually do a very high percentage of the time. It just gets back to trying to reach that last level of sell-off. Gets us to 13 Rand 40, and that's a very quick 15% move in that stock. So happy to buy it at 11 Rand 60. I'm sure we were below that this morning.
Yes.
We probably hit 11.40, 11.50 today. Very good entry point in my opinion. Stop loss, very, very easy to calculate. 10 Rand 90, that's a break back below that neckline.
Yes, okay.
And that would be my signal to exit on the long trade, and then wait and see. Maybe we can get another opportunity to get in if the bullish momentum continues. But for me, under pressure for a very long time, Old Mutual.
Yes.
Not a very popular stock, but also not a very volatile stock.
Okay.
So looking for a gentle ride up to 13 Rand 40 from 11 Rand 60. Again, 15% in the bag. If you're trading on a leveraged basis, you stand to make a decent little profit for not a very long-term trade.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your technical analysis. They really appreciate it, Rob, as we continue to look for opportunities in the markets. That was Unum Capital's Rob Pietropaolo. And that's all for this week's segment, but do stay tuned for lots more coming up right here on Business Day TV.